Hey, there's Tommy Tuberville back when he was a football coach. I don't know if that... Senator, that doesn't look like you. I don't know if that's actually you. But you're a great football coach and a fantastic United States Senator, commanding a lot of respect. What you say, people listen to. And on that Senate Foreign Relations Committee, on the Senate Armed Services Committee, sir, we're very, very happy you're with us tonight. Welcome to the show. How have you been? First off, how do you like being a U.S. Senator?
Well, it's not bad. It's a lot better now that we're playing offense, Greg. We played defense for 4 years against the Biden administration and had to watch all that craziness take place, and it even got worse as we went along. But at the end of the day, now President Trump's got the reins. We've got the ball in our court, and now we can play offense for a while, and we're doing that tonight. We're in the Capitol voting tonight. We'll probably go to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning voting on this new budget resolution, and looking forward to blocking a lot of the amendments that the Democrats are going to throw at us.
Well, that's fantastic. Hey, can I ask you about this report that Secretary Hegseth is on the verge of firing maybe a half dozen generals and admirals? And, sir, to me, this is very good news because on the list, and I don't know this to be a fact, but there are reports suggesting that C.Q. Brown, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is on that list, and so is Admiral Franchetti, the CNO, the Chief of Naval Operations. Both of these people have significant limitations, especially C.Q. Brown. Are they on some sort of list that you've seen, sir?
No, I hadn't seen a list, but I wouldn't doubt that these people weren't on the, I wouldn't say chopping block, I'd just say being evaluated very, very hard. First of all, we're way overbloated in the Pentagon. We have 30,000 people that work in the Pentagon, and we have 30,000 people that work across the street and other buildings that are connected to the Pentagon. If we're going to start cutting, that's where we start. And we start with generals. We start with people that have been there too long, need to retire. We need to get fresh blood. We've got a lot of people that's been teaching DEI and all this woke nonsense in the military. And a lot of it started at the top, and they're not going to be able to give it up. So Pete Hegseth's going to go in and evaluate every bit of it. And again, he said 8% cut possibly, but it will start in personnel. It won't start on the level of the warfighter. It's going to start where we have all these generals that are running around and have $200 to $250 million budgets a year individually.
It's going to be, in addition to the bloat, and we know there's a lot of bloat, it's this guy's possible insubordination. It looks like he really tried to trip up President Trump and the woke stuff. All hell will break loose, though, if you fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who happens to be black. I don't care what his race is, but you know and I know that a lot of folks do. But so there will be a great big uproar, but that's fine by us. What do you think of him when you deal with him, you know, when he comes before the committee and that kind of thing? Has he been a straight shooter? Because I got a bunch of examples here where he seems to be a real swamp character.
Well, he is a straight shooter. He's been in the military for a long time. We appreciate his service. But again, it's somebody that's going to match the characteristics of what President Trump wants and what Pete Hegseth wants. And it's like being a head football coach. You're not going to go in and keep the same offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. They've got to have the same thoughts that you have in terms of how you run a football game. Same thing here in the military. You can't have a division with the upper echelon of the leadership. And so we got to get the leadership on the same page. I do know that CQ is a good person, but he has DEI and woke agendas that he tried to push on the military when he came to our posture hearing. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with it. But I would imagine there's going to be a hard evaluation of every 3- and 4-star general in the Pentagon, including the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
President Trump is saying out loud the truth, which a lot of people either don't know or didn't want to know, that President Zelensky of Ukraine actually has canceled elections. There hasn't been an election in Ukraine since 2019. I think that's pretty bad. I think it's pretty great that it's come to light. Now it's okay to say these things. There is a lot of establishment support, Democrats and Republicans, for Zelensky, more so than support for ending the war. How is this playing with your colleagues right now, and what do you feel about President Trump's comments and you know, his urgency to get this thing done, the war?
Yeah, well, the war needs to be over. I haven't voted for a dime for it, but to go to it because at the end of the day, Ukraine could not beat Russia. If Russia did invade, but we have pushed this war for since the year 1990 when we told them we wouldn't move east of Germany for in terms of NATO, but we've done that. Every president's done that except for President Trump. So what we need to do is we need to all understand President Zelensky has been there. No telling where all this money's gone. He did stop the media from really putting out all the propaganda and not just some of it. He closed down churches. He stopped all the other TV avenues and the radios and all that. Everything was focused on him, and all that we hear is if he ran for election, he couldn't win. So, at the end of the day, President Trump, I know for a fact, is working hard on this behind the scenes, along with all of his staff. They'll get something done, but I don't know whether Zelensky will be part of it.
Senator Tuberville, one of the most successful coaches of all time. Sir, you happen to still be in shape. I noticed that a lot of college coaches and a lot of professional, NFL coaches are in the worst shape possible. You ever notice that? I always found that weird. But obviously you, when you were coaching and now, what's your secret for staying in shape? And doesn't that kind of bother the players when the coaches are kind of, out of shape?
I've always wondered that, and you look at some of the older coaches, they tend to get a little bit bigger as the time goes on. But, everybody asks me, why did you get into coaching? I got into coaching so I could deal with young people, and young people keep you young, but they also keep you motivated to do what you need to do to stay as close to them as possible physically. So it was a great profession for me. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, a lot more fun than being a senator. But I'm glad I'm doing this because I love our country, and I love the direction it's going now with President Trump.
We do too, and we're glad you're there. Senator Tuberville, Republican of Alabama, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You bet, and we'll be right back.